It's called The Last Night. Last night, I dreamed I was lost on a moonless moor. The fierce little devil box rattles alarm through the portals of dream. Wherever it is in the unmapped archipelago of being that the sleep cruise has been drifting through. On a still evening, the lone memoirista nursing a pina colada on a harbourside terrace in breezes of conjured youth can hear a Jungian orchestra serenading my parties of the dead and lost, of faces and sound playing across this inner screen. But then, the piercing scream, preset, demanding consciousness, the closing and latching of gates, the rub and bleary sting of opening eyes, the swing of stiffening sinews, the plates of meat flying across duvet space, an arc between geometry, a calf and shin, a clicking knee of waking algebra, unsteady flipping sheets, curtains, shaking pillows, counselling covers to be rid of pride offending creases, the prisoner of slumber arises. Into iron gates part, porcelain and cistern, hold out arms in cinematic art. It's dawn's delight to celebrate this most ordinary of releases, the flush and hiss, the wait till all falls quiet, so not to wake the uneasy child and mother whose night has been a circus of playfulness and feeding. Through the scales and flows of suds and wireless woes, oh, the sadness of mechanical hose, itching, scratching the tilth to nurture, irrigate and harvest all that will load a winter plate. And the price, the blushing tape and forms to regulate, the costs of overwhelming culture to depress and aggravate the man of all seasons leaning across the freedom of his gate, and his, the voice of a poet's early morning shower. As I turn and scrape, sluice and offer into spray the nape of spine and neck, the muscle bound to upright this head and propel the advance of ape, the prehensile paw flat and steady over distant gaze into the haze, the past and future days of horizons. Oh, we all are hewers with horns giving chase to shadows and shoals. We fear the slide and slip of years and lose ourselves at unexpected goals in frantic cheers. In still moments, we fill our present torpor with yarns of faith involving saints, voyaging leaves and millstones to navigate doubt and disdain, such grey and wild water to convey in prayer and witness the lambs of love to altar, the sacrifice of trusting souls to proving grounds of slaughter, and above all, the lying in and generosity of a virgin to birth a youthful martyr whose cry hangs over ages. They know not what they do, poor buggers ain't got a clue. Forgive and let live, and I, ascending, will fly and keep pending a promise without date or time of delivery. But I shall be sometime descending to grant the freedom of the sea to the spouting whale, the run of the river to Sargasso's eel, the rub into indecipherable marks of brass plates on benches which outnumber oaks in public parks. Colosseum thumbs will reverse the mob's dispatches and deflate the pomp and worship of Caesars, and machinery will fall silent before the grace of geology's tour and wind their simple track along the contour song of a Spriggan's moor. Stepping from the steaming glug of showers fading down their plug, the cry of toweling hewers, alert, inert and caking sewers, and waking bristling molars, frothing, gargling, spitting Colgate deterrents to nuclear decay. The trousered, shirted, panted stocking of poetry's poet, debating a democracy of grip. We come to slump before the screen, to flip the pentameter needle across meaning's iambic dial, gathering speed, the internal composition, its combustion of syntax and idiom, its exhaust spilling from idling engine out of tailpipes to corrupt versifying air, to strip layer by layer the atmosphere and to fill with polluting syllables, with recycled lines and landfill rhymes, the valleys and old workings, the shadows and echoes of forgotten times. A second cup to ease deletions and demolitions of editing, and published before the peak season, the imperfections of experience, its healing scars of cultivation, marks and telltale inscriptions of abandoned habitation. Oh, the boughs of autumn thorns, where larks gather exhausted to hear the bunting's harvest cry, I am, I am, all reformed in perfect buns, flown over cuts of dual carriageway, badger bridges where no brock will ever turn the Yale snort of winter's lock and crack the hedgehog's back behind next door's garbage bin. The poem is reduced to scansion, to commiserate this ape's expansion, and the spriggan, whose dance on gale-scorned moor filled the droll with Calvary ore and full moon's nights with mischief, has been relocated and compensated, compulsorily purchased and left deflated to eke their hidden eternity on ring roads around a city, to halt the flow with scarlet and call the pilgrims to hurry to cross when fluorescent green flashes to incite their dashes, and between the warning signs the melancholy spriggan pines, and land recalls the plough, barrows have museumed their urns, and bones make ghastly percussion in archaeological stores, and in the arthritic keyboard the morning poem churns. An adder prepares its basking stones, a buzzard aloft circles and turns, and poetry, drowning in the hum of traffic, building before the rush hour drum, horning and honking aggressive tones, poetry leaves stanzas in memoriam for remodeled scapes, tenuous hedges, shadows of clouds practicing escapes, spriggans up to stillborn japes, ponies and goats in great debates. Oh, how we lament the death of the moors, the nailed palms of crucified farms, the la-di-da of real-time overhead rhymes, warning of congestion, delaying our times. And suddenly, as things find their end, the spark which caused this explosion of lines stirs to rekindle the cooling blend. On a market stall, anchored on the cap which hides the tide from the quay and the harbour side from retail's pride, a fox, stuffed and glass-eyed, stares into the endlessness of nowhere, and I could not catch the fading curlew's call, drowned by chatter on the bric-a-brac stall.
Right.